I don't normally worry about abuse being thrown at me. I've got kind of used to it over the course of the last few years. But to accuse countless millions of being racist is a very, very low blow.
Nigel Farage confronts David Lammy in heated debate. You're not going to believe what just happened in Parliament. What started as a routine session turned into one of the most fiery exchanges we've seen in months, and right at the center of it all were Nigel Farage and David Lammy. Now, if you followed British politics for a while, you know both of these men are no strangers to controversy. But this time, it wasn't just another political jab or a soundbite for social media. This was a full-on confrontation, sharp words, strong reactions, and a chamber that quite literally erupted. Let's break it down. It all began when the topic of leadership accountability and immigration policy came up during a tense parliamentary session. Lammy, known for his passionate and articulate defense of Labour's social and inclusion policies, took the floor to criticize what he called reckless populist rhetoric from Farage and his supporters. The tone was firm but composed at first. But once Farage rose to respond, the energy in the room shifted immediately. He leaned forward, that trademark stare, voice raised just enough to cut through the background noise, and then came the line that sent the entire chamber into chaos. David, the people are tired of being talked down to. They're tired of politicians pretending to know what's best for them while ignoring what they're actually saying. There was a brief silence, and then uproar. Some MPs clapped. Others shouted back. And from that moment, the entire debate spiraled into one of the most emotionally charged confrontations Parliament has seen all year. Lammy shot back, accusing Farage of fueling division for clicks and headlines. He said, "Leadership isn't about stoking fear, it's about finding solutions." But Farage wasn't backing down, not this time. "You talk about unity, David," he fired back, "but what's uniting the public right now is frustration because they see policies failing them every single day." That line echoed across the chamber. Some MPs leaned back, visibly uncomfortable. Others nodded in silent agreement. And here's the thing, this wasn't just about politics anymore. It was about two very different visions of what Britain should be. Farage, speaking to the populist anger, saying the establishment is out of touch. Lammy, defending institutional leadership, warning against division and populism. It's the same ideological battle we've seen playing out across Europe, and yet, this moment felt raw, real, and personal. For a brief few minutes, Parliament wasn't just a political stage. It was a mirror of a country split between frustration and reform. Now, reactions outside the chamber were immediate and fierce. One political columnist tweeted, "Farage just turned a routine session into a viral moment." But Lammy held his ground. This could define both their images heading into 2025. Another wrote, "This wasn't debate, it was a clash of two worldviews." And social media, explosive. Clips of the exchange were trending within hours. On X, formerly Twitter, hashtags like #Farage vs Lammy and #ParliamentClash were all over the platform. One user posted, "Say what you want about Farage, but at least he says what everyone's thinking." Another countered, "Lammy's the only adult in the room. We need leadership, not theatrics." Even among journalists, there was a split. Some praised Farage for bringing emotion back into a sterile parliament. Others accused him of grandstanding for media attention. But beyond the noise, there's a deeper story here, one that's about more than two politicians trading blows. Because what we saw was frustration boiling over, not just from Farage, but from a nation that feels unheard. For months, British citizens have been expressing growing discontent over migration, cost of living, and political accountability. And whether you agree with Farage or not, he tapped into that frustration right in the middle of Parliament. Meanwhile, Lammy, calm under pressure, represented another kind of truth. The belief that anger isn't enough, that leadership requires building solutions, not tearing down opponents. And that's the real tension Britain faces right now: passion versus policy, outrage versus order. Political insiders say this exchange could have major implications for both men's futures. One former party strategist told Sky News, "Moments like this stick. Voters remember who stood their ground." Another insider suggested the debate might actually boost public engagement. "People are tired of scripted politics," they said. "This felt authentic, even if messy." And they're right. Because, like it or not, This is the kind of clash that gets people watching politics again. It cuts through the noise, through the filters, straight to emotion, and that's powerful. As the dust settles, Parliament is expected to review some of the policy points raised during the argument, especially around immigration and border management. But make no mistake, the political story here isn't over. Both Farage and Lammy walked out of that chamber knowing this wasn't the end, it was the start of a new narrative. Lammy, determined to show he can defend Labour's image as a party of unity. Farage, seizing every opportunity to remind the public that he still has influence and that he's far from done. And the public, watching closely, because, as one observer put it, if this is how Parliament debates now, the next election is going to be one wild ride. So what happens next? Will this spark a deeper conversation about leadership and accountability, or just another viral clip that fades away? One thing's for sure, this exchange reminded everyone that when politics gets personal, the stakes get real. And as the cameras kept rolling, with MPs still buzzing and the Speaker calling for order, one question lingered in the air. If this is just the beginning, how much louder will Parliament get before real change actually happens?